da 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 da. Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm Chris and this is Battlefront 2. Today we're going to be talking original trilogy, starting out here with Han at Mos Eisley. I mean, the original trilogy is just, like, I can't even begin to describe it. It's timeless. I mean, I grew up watching these movies just over and over and over again. I don't remember a single moment where, like, I had that big reveal of, oh, Vader is Luke's father. What? It was just something I knew because I had watched that movie over and over and over again before I comprehended what that meant. Even my family, who is not that big of a fan of sci-fi, we like live and breathe these movies just because like they're so unique and they're so universal, really. I obviously now love sci-fi because of Star Wars, but like my family was hard pressed to get any sci-fi concepts if it wasn't explicitly stated in Star Wars. So it's they definitely have a very, very broad reach. I think that because, I mean, my experience is I grew up on these movies. All of a sudden they came out with the prequels, then they came out with the sequels, and both of those had a very, very strong backlash right when they were first released. And I think it's because, I mean, with this original trilogy, it's not because it's any better or worse, in my opinion. It's just because when you have one thing, it's very easy to say, no, I like that thing. There's, you know, it is what it is, and that's what it is. But the longer something continues, the more you add on to it, there's more opportunities for people to find things they don't necessarily agree with. To find things that they might not appreciate as much as the original. And that's, I think, something that you can find for any franchise, not just Star Wars. I think it's just very easy to pinpoint Star Wars as going through that stage. Like, I mean, Fast and Furious has, like, what, 10 movies out now, and they're all, like, there's bound to be people who are like, oh yeah, I like the first few, but now they're just ridiculous, I don't really know what's going on. And there's some people who are like, man, they found a direction, they went with it, I love it. And that's what's gonna happen when you keep making something, regardless of the quality of it. You're just going to find things to disagree with. But, I mean, everyone knows Star Wars, everyone, for the most part, everyone loves the original trilogy. I find it hard to blame. Whew. Oh, alright, let's calm down here, stormtroopers. Alright, calm down. You got me. Alright. Alright, let's find another scenario to work with here. Okay, this is Leia on Hoth.
All forces prepare to attack.
Everyone loves Leia. Leia's the best. I mean, it was really cool that right from the get-go, George Lucas wanted the story to be about the three. He wanted it about not just Luke, but he wanted it to be about Leia and Han, the three of them together. I think that kind of trio, that main character trio formula, has really been ran with in popular culture since then. I mean, you have obvious things like Harry Potter and Hunger Games and stuff like that, but you also have more obscure things, like even like Ferris Bueller, you could argue, follows that same formula too. And I think it's really cool because, I mean, George Lucas was mostly concerned about selling toys, but he wanted Leia up there with the boys. He didn't want it to be like, oh, this is your token, you know, female princess character, and she doesn't really do anything. She's just there to, you know, push merch. Which she was, but it was also, from the get-go, she was every bit a part of this series as Luke and Han. I mean, and it's funny because that's all George Lucas was concerned about, was selling toys. Harrison Ford wanted Han to die in Return of the Jedi because he thought it would be a very satisfying conclusion to his arc. Han was never the believer in the beginning of the movies. He was just the guy who's in it for the money. But then, so Harrison Ford said, wouldn't it be cool if he sacrificed himself for the rebellion in the last movie? That would be such a cool character arc. And George Lucas's response was, dead heroes don't sell toys. Which, I mean, George Lucas is just so odd of, like, he can be brilliant in one sense and completely confusing and baffling in another. And that's definitely one of them, is like, I don't know if he actually loved the equality and the arcs that these characters went through, or was he just doing as much as he could to maximize his merchandising bottom line, you know? I mean, the movies were made on a shoestring budget, which I love all of the stories that come out of it, like Luke's pants in the first one were, like, dyed jeans or something like that. All of the Stormtrooper armor looked super run down and goofy because they only had, they had painters. They just hired painters to paint them. And then they didn't know what paint to use on what, so the paint chips were actually because they used the wrong type of paint for costumes. I love a lot of the wide shots are paintings. They're like, they're just like somebody painted a very detailed piece of artwork, and then they're like, oh yeah, that's our wide shot of like the Death Star or the Yavin base. All right, let's find another one here, and we can wrap this up. All right, this is the man, the myth, the legend, Luke Skywalker.
Like my father.
Farm boy to Jedi Knight. And that is our main hero. I know you can argue that there's 3 heroes, but it all comes down to Luke in the end. And that arc really comes from, I mean, George Lucas has said that arc comes from his own experience, going from this naive kid to being this kind of bitter old man. And that's where Luke came from, which I love the fact that his arc continued in the sequel trilogy, and that his kind of strengths and failures are known kind of throughout, even like in the little content like Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. Like he's very consistent as a character, I think. I mean, it's something that I didn't really realize until I was much older, that Luke's arc in Return of the Jedi is very interesting because he considers that to be a failure. It's so easy to say, oh yeah, he went there, he beat the bad guys, he won the day, you know, great success. But it's so much deeper than that, because essentially the entire time, ever since he finds out that Vader is his father, he's in this moral dilemma of like, I don't really want to kill my father, I never thought I had family other than Owen and Beru, and now they're dead. But so, you know, if Vader is my father, I can't just go up to him and kill him. That's something I don't know if I can do. So he's searching for another way out of it. And in his talks with Yoda, in his talks with Obi-Wan, he decides, I'm gonna go to Vader, and I'm gonna talk to him. I'm not gonna fight him. I'm just gonna talk to him, and I'm gonna figure out if, you know, I think he can come back to the light. I think he can be good again. So I'm going to go, I'm going to talk to him, I'm going to see if I can get him to just stop being the Emperor's puppet, if I can get him back, and we can just get out of here. Obviously, it doesn't shake out that way. He is sort of tempted by the Emperor, because their entire plan ends up being manipulation. They think, oh, we can stop the Empire here, but that's not how it works out. His friends are in danger. Luke, in anger, decides that he can stop it all just by picking up his weapon. And the Emperor loves it. The Emperor realizes that Luke fails. he picks up his weapon in anger, and he kind of takes that step towards the dark side. Get back here. Get back. Oh, there we go. So, Luke, while a very shiny, squeaky hero on the surface, I think has a lot of cool... Alright, let's get out of here, Stormtrooper. A lot of cool stuff bubbling under the surface. So, thank you for joining me. Love talking about the original trilogy. I will see you next time. Bye.